Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And thanks to Millennial Mike, we are going to chop it up and look at Valuetainment's next video. This is so much fun. Thank you for doing this.
No problem.
Here we go.
Simulators of old 2008 versus today. In 2008, okay, the average worker, say he made $80,000 a year, whatever the number is. The house prices at the time were 8 times the average worker's earnings. So 8 times 80 is what? $640,000, right? You know what the number is today? 8.5 times. So if in 2008 was 8 times, the average American's like, I can't afford to buy that big of a house. What are you talking about? It's 8 times my income. It's crazy. Don't worry, it's 8.5 today, okay? Which means it's worse than what it was in '08. Which means what? It's gotta come back down to around 3 or 4 times, which is the number. Okay, it's either income's gonna go up, which it ain't gonna go up because there's layoffs, or the price of real estate's gonna come down. So again, if you're watching fear porn like Dave Ramsey says, I'm giving you stats. Go chop these data up and say it's a bunch of crock or whatever, but give your argument. So when you're looking at this data and you're asking yourself, how bad can it be? Michael Burry from The Big Short said the following. He said, as I said about 2008, it is like watching a plane crash. It hurts, it's not fun, and I'm not smiling. He also predicted that the next crash will dwarf the 2008 bust, which sparked a global financial crisis.
That's great. Thank you. That's cool. All right. So, wow, this isn't. So first off, I love following Michael Burry. He's an odd duck. I actually worked in the same office building, kind of inside information in Cupertino for a while. I never met him though, but anyways.
That's cool.
Small. It's really weird. I'm like, oh, Michael Burry, there he is. So a couple of things. First off, I really thought it was funny when he talked about fear porn, and then he pulled up Reventure Consulting's chart on Phoenix. So talk about the definition of fear porn.
Right.
Again, folks, as Reventure Consulting does all the time, Patrick Bet-David just did the same thing. They talked about 2 of 3 variables. So if you look at housing and you only look at income and you do the math, it was unaffordable. I actually did a video about Reventure Consulting in 2020 and 2021 saying the same thing. The third, it's not price and it's not income, it's payment. Reventure Consulting and other fear porn channels were telling people not to buy in 2020 and 2021 because of that exact chart. That exact chart is wrong. I did the research for 52 years, and 2020 was the second best year to buy, and 2021 was the third best year to buy because interest rates. You could have got an interest rate with a 2 or a 3 on it. It doesn't matter where your incomes are. It's the payment. Housing was more affordable in 2020 and 2021. Anybody who just looks at price and income, it's disingenuous and wrong. It's just wrong. It's incomplete. It's like a null set. It's like bad. So that's the first thing. Second, what else did he talk about? I wrote so much stuff down. Go ahead.
Well, he debunked himself in this video. In this video, he debunked his final point because he opened the video by saying, you buy a $500,000 house at 3%, it's a $2,100 payment. 6%, it's a $2,800 payment, and 9%, it's $4,000. The price of the house never changed. Yeah. Never changed. What changes, as you mentioned, is the payment. And people buy their house on payment, which is the very first point that he made and the very first argument that he gave of this video. And then at the end, he wants to come in and boogeyman scare you by saying the price of the house is now 8.5 times the average income. Yeah, but is the person's is your income enough to cover what the payment is? The house value can go up if the interest rate comes down. You could end up with a cheaper payment than someone who's buying the house at a cheaper price with a worse interest rate. So I just thought it was very funny how he was inconsistent within his own video. And again, for a guy who I respect, I've watched hours of his content over the years, was very surprised, but not surprised because they want to bring people in.
Yeah, again, the whole motivation of this, because again, I really do believe he put out that economic crash video coming up, which I loved. I loved it so much. I talked about it on my channel. That went viral. And he's like, ooh, let's do that again. But this time, let's get a hook. Let's get people coming to masterminds and coming to my events so I could sell them how to prepare, right? Stack cash, buy assets, blah, 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 all that stuff. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I just remembered, was wages. He said wages are coming down because layoffs are going up. Well, again, if you're Patrick Bet David and your main circle is mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, real estate agents, yeah, lots of layoffs. The other thing to talk about is he talked about Compass laying off 10%. Again, he said 10%. Do you know what 10% like headcount wide is? It's 450 people. 450 people is not going to crash the economy. Right. Realtor laying off 6% or 700 is not going to crash the economy. Again,
Chase laying off 1,000. He said that nationwide.
Yeah, it's worldwide. Chase is worldwide. Those could be worldwide layoffs.
Yeah.
So again, folks, unemployment is 3.6 per day today. It certainly needs to go up just to cool the economy off. But I want to go back to wage inflation. I'm actually starting to talk about this because I think the biggest bugaboo and the thing that's the thing that's going to tell me how high the Fed have to go is wage inflation. So again, inside CPI, wage inflation here recently or for the last 3 months has been north of 5%. So Patrick Bet David, that's not 0, that's 5%. But here's the deal. We still have the Great Resignation. We still have, workers looking for jobs below normal, right? We have 11 million openings and 5 million laid off or something like that. I actually believe wage inflation is much higher than 5% because what is not included, Mike, is when you quit your job and go somewhere else. Why do most people do that? For a raise.
Because they get a raise.
And it's not 5%. I've told people a long time. I was a hiring manager, second line. When I went and tried to hire my competitor, I would pay 20, 30, 40% more. Mm-hmm. And that's not included. One of the reasons that I think the economy is on better footing than the economic numbers is wages. Again, wages going up 5% is awesome. I think that's very sticky. It's not going down, Patrick. I'm sorry. I think you're wrong. But I also think the Great Resignation points to another 5, 8, 10%. Because if you leave job A and go to job B, let's just assume you did that for 15%. That's not counted in the wage inflation number. So I think 5.1, 5.2 wage inflation is grossly underreported. So again, Patrick, like one time in his video, he talked about basically layoffs leading to riots, like in drug use and all of this stuff. I'm like, wow, talk about a scary circle, right? Clearly, reach out to me. I've been here before. I can, sell you this mastermind or this event or whatever. I just don't see it. I see the largest crash on record in transactions. I see an economic recession that will be moderate or severe and real estate led. I see a couple of housing markets seeing price deterioration. I do not see the national median home price going negative in 2022. As for 2023, I don't know yet because I don't know how high the Fed has to go. If the Fed's got to go to 6 or 7%, that's going to hurt. If they can stop at 4, it doesn't hurt as much. I don't know yet. So again, I think Patrick Bet David asked us to critique. I think he clearly had motivation, right? This is a lead source video. And again, for his business, it makes perfect sense. He's going to make millions of dollars because of this scary video. Good for him. I think there's a lot of incomplete information. I think it is absolutely fear porn. I think there's a lot of intellectual dishonesty, in my opinion, in there. So that's my kind of thought on the videos.
Yeah. Again, as somebody who's a big fan of him, I was surprised when I watched this video because I've watched your channel for years, and specifically over the last few months in our regular segment we do where we answer questions from the comment section. A lot of these points he's making have been brought up in questions in some form or other from your comment section, and we've addressed them over and over again. And not that I expect him to be tuning into our little segment, but the fact is for him to be having these same concerns as your average YouTube viewer when he has all of the resources at his disposal and all of the knowledge that he has, as you mentioned, it's a little disingenuous. He knows better. He's not panic selling. He knows that what's going to happen right now is exactly what we've talked about, is that, yes, inventory is going to go up, but there's not going to be any major giant crash in prices. Mm-hmm. And so what this is just an opportunity for him. So I enjoyed doing this video with you, Mike. It was a good time. I hope we get more stuff like this to react to because I like to comment.
There you go. Well, do me a favor. Where can people find you?
If you just Google, YouTube, or Instagram, Millennial Mike, you can find my channel. We talk about out-of-state real estate investing, or you can find me here where I help Mike react to obnoxious people on the internet.
There you go. Thanks, buddy.